You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
At St. Jude, our family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, it's Jessie. How y'all doing out there tonight? You know I miss you when we're not talking. You better buy it by now. You better buy it by now. I truly do miss you when we aren't talking. No, that's not a joke. It's not something I'm just saying to get your attention. It truly is how I feel. Now, for anybody who tried to tune into my show last night, let's just say good material, Charlie Foxtrot on the connection. So rather than try and go offline and record the show and remember exactly what I said, how I said, every little thing, I decided I was going to do the same basic show tonight with a couple of tweaks. There's always got to be a tweak or two somewhere. You know, there is latest news. And you know me, I do try and bring you what I can as up to the date as I can get it. Now, I do my own audio clips. I chase my own stuff. And I have a general good time. So and by the way, Ron, shout out to you, my friend. You pointed out how much of a disaster that last night's show was. Because I hadn't listened to it, and he basically told me that in no uncertain terms, you couldn't listen to it. It just could not be listened to easily. And so I downloaded it myself last night and went, yeah, this isn't working. Which is why we're going to grab mostly last night's show prep. With a few additions from tonight. And I'm going to do my best to say something similar to what I said last night. It won't be exactly the same, because that's nearly impossible, and we're not going to even push that hard for it. Now, is North Korea a distraction from something else? Well, it's an interesting thought. And no, I'm not talking about U.S. domestic policy. If you know me, if you have listened to this show at all, You know, I do not cover U.S. domestic policy. I just don't. I'm not going to tell you what Senator so-and-so said on the campaign trail. I am not going to tell you who's the latest great senator from the state of Texas, Wyoming. That's not what I do. I tell you what's going on in the world on a pretty big scale. At least I like to think I do. And I enjoy what I do, which is, yes, the printer is running behind me. Can't help the printer every now and again. And I love it when I get feedback from you guys. Now, as a reminder, I am over in the chat room at klrnradio.com/chat. And I am also on Twitter at Jesse's POV. I do have my notifications page up. Now, if you're listening Memorex podcast, iTunes, Blueberry, Google Play, any of those, go to the podcast app on your smartphone and type in Jesse's POV, and you'll probably find it. Because that's how KLRN Radio rolls. Most of our shows are available on our shows, the ones that initiate with KLRN Radio. They're not syndicated from elsewhere. But most of our shows are available in multiple locations. So you can listen anywhere, anytime, any way you want. All right. Now that we got that sorted out. And just as a reminder, I'm no longer live on air on Fridays. It has been replaced with Jesse's Coffee Shop, where I talk books and writing. But I am here Monday through Thursdays. I needed a mental break. I'll be blunt. I needed a break. 5 days a week of terrorism and bad guys was getting on my nerves. So I decided a change had to come. And that was the change I made. Alright, now let's start with our scorecard. Who's propped up by who and who's trading with who? Might as well start with North Korea. North Korea's big brother is China. Also trading with North Korea are Russia and Iran, who, by the way, are currently opposing blocking all oil entering North Korea in the form of a UN sanction. Oh yes, they're not wanting to do that. Now, China has what I consider a semi-legitimate reason to want to keep North Korea functional. They don't want collapse, and they don't want to be overrun by refugees. But that's not always the best excuse. So, I'm not going to put any stock in it. And then we have a major holiday this weekend in North Korea. And they are reportedly prepping another ICBM missile launch. Oh, by the way, North Korea trades with Russia and Iran. Well, Iran and Russia are also propping up Bashar al-Assad in Syria. And then you top that off. Yes, we're not quite done with the fact that Iran is building weapons factories in Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Failed state. Lebanon, I'm not sure about. And, well, Syria is essentially a failed state. Yemen's essentially a failed state. Come on, let's just say it's not pretty. Okay? Let's just go with it's not pretty. Can we all agree on that one? Because I don't know about you, friends, but when with Iran and North Korea trading, and North Korea, a known weapons proliferator. Yes, they have sold every weapon system they have ever created. What? You didn't know that one? Trust me, they have. And we are going to bring out the audio clips tonight. And we're going to get all this sorted out for you. All right, let's start with this one.
Escalation from an incident, either at sea, the shelling of an island, the sinking of a ship, something that causes a confrontation. Under the current circumstances, we do not know how the North Koreans think about their nuclear weapons. We don't know what they think they're good for. They may think they're good for deterring the South Koreans and the Americans from responding in that case. They would be wrong, tragically wrong, but the outcome would not be good. Second thing we need to worry about, I think, and maybe it's even more important, is transfer.
Now, when he said transfer, he means North Korea transferring their nuclear technology or their missile technology to either another state or to a terrorist organization. You don't think they'll do it? They've done it.
10 years ago, the North Koreans transferred a plutonium production reactor to Syria. It was crushed by the Israelis. If it had not been crushed, that reactor could be providing plutonium not only to Syrians, but to others who have traipsed through Syria, and these are pretty unsavory folks. And that's an image that goes to nuclear terrorism we don't like to contemplate. So we need to somehow impress upon the North Koreans that's not a move we want to see again.
No, we don't want to see that move, but I also don't want to see them with the ability to strike at our country. Now, this one's a little bit of audio clip roulette. I don't remember what it says, but we're going to give it a shot.
Seeing the DPRK, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, for what it is rather than what we would like it to be, obliges us to recognize two highly unpleasant truths. First, the real existing North Korean leadership, as opposed to the imaginary version that some Westerners would like us to negotiate with, will never willingly give up their nuclear option. Acquiescing in denuclearization would be tantamount to abandoning its mission of Korean reunification, which is to say, disavowing the DPRK's very raison d'etre. Second, international entreaties can never succeed in convincing the DPRK to relinquish its nuclear weapons program. Sovereign governments simply do not trade away their vital national interests.
Glad I tripped over that one. I like it. I like it a lot. It was pretty clarifying. Because this was yesterday at the United Nations in New York. And this was the Russian representative to the United Nations.
Look, I'm saying that sanctions alone, whatever bans are introduced, will not help to solve the issue, because the aim is to stop the nuclearization, to go for denuclearization, and eventually, hopefully, to come back to the six-party talks. So whatever measures we are planning now, I'm not sure that they will influence the other side to abandon what they have been doing, and this is not the way to get parties at the table which and to seek for a political solution which we are all in favor of.
Yes, we would prefer a diplomatic solution. Because for those of you who don't remember, we have 25,000 of America's finest men and women in uniform on the Korean Peninsula. That doesn't count the troops in Japan or the troops in Guam. We do not want to have to take out North Korea. We don't. But we also don't want multiple areas of armed conflict. And you don't have to take my word on this. You can listen to some of the experts.
A decade ago, we were worried primarily with North Korea about, one, a single actor, and number two, a conventional war that might take place. Today, if you look at most strategists when they're concerned about North Korea, they realize that any conflict we may have multiple actors involved, and we're certainly look at multiple domains. No longer are we limited to conventional war. We may very well be looking now at nuclear, cyber, and even space challenges that we have.
Exactly. It's not going to be a traditional war. There may be traditional elements to it, and that would not surprise me. However, to say that this will just be won on the battlefield would be erroneous. To say that this will just be won in one way would be rose-colored glasses. If we have to go to war with North Korea, we will have to fight cyber. Remember what they did to Sony with the movie The Interview? We will have to fight against EMP devices, and we will have to fight against their nuclear technology.
North Korea, as the ranking member also pointed out, poses an imminent and unpredictable threat, not just to its neighbors, but now to the continental United States.
And this testimony was from March, from a Senate subcommittee hearing. Yes, March. Now, North Korea says they've got a few more gifts for us. We'll get to that one in just a minute. However, I want to remind you what Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dunford, and yes, if you listen to this show, you have heard this clip before, you are not losing your mind, said about war on the Korean Peninsula.
Many people, and this is an important point, many people have talked about military options as with words like unimaginable. And I would probably shift that slightly and say it would be horrific. And there would be a loss of life unlike any we have experienced in our lifetimes. And I mean, anyone who's been alive since World War II has never seen the loss of life that could occur if there's a conflict on the Korean Peninsula. But as I've told my counterparts, both friend and foe, it is not unimaginable to have military options to respond to North Korean nuclear capability. What's unimaginable to me is allowing a capability that will allow a nuclear weapon to land in Denver, Colorado. That's unimaginable to me.
And that is also unimaginable to me. A nuclear weapon landing in the continental United States is something I don't think any citizen, I don't care if you're left, right, illegal alien, and yes, I'm going to call you an illegal alien. I'm no M&M, and I don't candy code anything. That is unimaginable. The destruction of just one missile hitting the United States would be horrific. Why they pick on Denver, I don't know. But they seem to like picking on Denver. Now, I know I'm coming up to the bottom of the hour. I've got one more clip, and yes, it's one I've used before. But just to reinforce that we don't want war, I'm going to play part of another clip from Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dunford.
Does cause KJU, Kim Jong-un, to come to the table and begin to have a conversation, at least stop the path that he's on right now, which is further development of intercontinental ballistic missiles and nuclear capability. And to me, it makes all the sense in the world to prove the theory of the case and to work this for a few more months.
General Dunford is referring to diplomatic options. Let's work it for a few more months. Now that clip is 6 weeks old, which does leave me wondering exactly what is going on in his mind. I kind of wish I could peek inside, but it may scare me or it may reassure me, and he's not talking. Now, on that note, friends, yes, it is time to pay those radio station bills. Oh yes, it is time. As a reminder, you can find me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. You can catch me, shoot me an email at the station, Jesse's POV at KLRNRadio.com, and I will see you on the other side.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Thank y'all for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills. Yes, radio stations have bills too, my friend. All right. Kim Jong-un's antics in North Korea have the whole world watching. And we are going to discuss a little bit more of that in a minute. But everyone's watching Kim Jong-un. Who's watching what China's doing? When's the last time any of you heard about the South China Sea and what's going on there? Can anybody tell me? Because I most certainly have heard nothing about the South China Sea without going way out of my way to find it. Last month, a Philippine lawmaker released photos that purportedly showed Chinese fishing, Coast Guard, and Navy vessels surrounding a Philippine-occupied isle in the disputed Spratly or Parcel Island chain, preventing planned repairs to a runway. Vietnam, in July, halted drilling in an area leased to Spain's Repsol, amid reports it did so under Chinese duress. While the U.S. is still doing its quote-unquote freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea, testing China's claims to exclusive access, and it plans to conduct 2 to 3 maneuvers in the next few months. The fact that they've been publicly chided for such behavior has fallen from the headlines and gets no attention. China knows that Trump is very focused on North Korea, not too worried about the overall Southeast Asia. And China is willing to push things as far as they can. The recent actions are a far cry from the clashes, of course, that occurred in 2014 when China dragged an oil rig into waters also claimed by Vietnam. Now, keep in mind, China is snubbing its nose at the world. China was taken to the International Court of Arbitration. Yes, the International Court of Arbitration over the islands. And because they claim essentially the entire South China Sea. However, the court ruled against them and said, you don't own that. And China went, so what? And I want to give Ron in the chat, KLRNRadio.com chat room, a little shout out and say, yes, Ron, you asked me to redo my episode from last night for the archives. I tried to do it last night after I was off the air, but it just doesn't work for me. So, I'm covering the same topics tonight. You asked for it, you got it. I'm pretty laid back. Now, back to what I was saying. So while the whole world is focused on North Korea and Mr. Quackers, they're forgetting about China's real-world game of Minecraft in the South China Sea and their fake islands. They are forgetting it. Now, when we passed got some sanctions in the Security Council, not the most recent ones, but this clip's also about a month old. And I'm going to warn you, listen closely. It is a challenge to hear. Okay? Okay. Listen closely, because this is North Korea telling us what to do.
If the United States persists in enter the DPRK the sanctions without understanding its rival, the administration will have to take full responsibility for the ensuring catastrophe.
Okay, translation. And I'm going to do the translation as it goes. If the U.S. insists on sanctioning North Korea, it's got to take responsibility for the problems that North Korea creates, because they aren't going to abide by the sanctions.
Catastrophic the consequences. The United States should mind that the DPRK nuclear strike capability will be strengthened and developed at a rapidly high speed.
The U.S. needs to pay attention to the fact that we're not going to stop developing our nuclear weapons, and we're going to work harder and faster.
As long as the United States insists its entire policy, nasty nuclear threat and blackmail, and sanction and pressure.
And they also call our troops on the peninsula, the fact that we have nuclear weapons and the fact that they're being sanctioned, as pressure and blackmail. Now, this clip is from Tuesday. This one is a lot easier to understand, so I'm going to let it play through.
I'm proud of saying that just 2 days ago, on 3rd of September, DPRK successfully carried out the hydrogen bomb test for intercontinental ballistic rocket and its plan for building a strategic nuclear force. The test is part of normal activities according to policy line of the Workers' Party of Korea to simultaneously push forward economic construction and building of nuclear force. The recent self-defensive measures by my country, DPRK, are gift package addressed to none other than the U.S. The U.S. will receive more gift packages from my country as long as it relies on reckless provocations and futile attempts to put pressure on the DPRK. My delegation also takes this opportunity to once again reject categorically the sanction resolutions adopted by the UN Security Council, which is now reduced to political tool serving for despicable U.S. hostile policy towards my country, DPRK. Pressure or sanction will never work on my country. The DPRK will never, under any circumstance, put its nuclear deterrence on the negotiating table.
All right, he said, let's replay just the last part of that.
DPRK will never, under any circumstance, put its nuclear deterrence on the negotiating table.
The DPRK will never put its nuclear deterrence on the negotiating table. Now, it's important to understand that they view the fact that Saddam Hussein didn't have nuclear weapons, and he's gone. The fact that Gaddafi didn't have nuclear weapons, and he's gone. So they view nuclear weapons as the only thing keeping them from being taken out by the United States. The only thing. Now, I'm not so sure that China really, they care to a point what North Korea is doing. And they voted with us on some of those sanctions. However, they're busy snubbing their nose at the world, so why shouldn't their little brother North Korea snub their nose? Why shouldn't they? I don't know why they shouldn't. I have a feeling, and it is a gut feeling, that while publicly China is doing all the right things and playing all the right cards, that they're privately going, yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing. Everybody's busy watching you. On some level, I have no doubt that that's what's going on. Now, this was Nikki Haley after the sixth nuclear test by North Korea. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley.
Kim Jong-un's action cannot be seen as defensive. He wants to be acknowledged as a nuclear power. But being a nuclear power is not about using those terrible weapons to threaten others. Nuclear powers understand their responsibilities. Kim Jong-un shows no such understanding. His abusive use of missiles and his nuclear threats show that he is begging for war.
Yes, he is abusing his weapons and begging for war. Now, we've already heard on multiple occasions sanctions won't work. And I pray I'm wrong. But if North Korea says sanctions won't work, that's for the horse's mouth. Russia, one of their trading partners, one of their key allies, says sanctions won't work. Iran's not going to bother making a statement, but Iran wrote the textbook on how to evade sanctions. Why do you think we were eventually forced to make the Iran nuclear deal that is not worth the paper it's printed on? I'm sorry. That's what I think of the Iran nuclear deal. I do not like the Iran nuclear deal. I will never like the Iran nuclear deal as long as we can't inspect military installations in Iran for whatever we want, whenever we want. Now, Vietnam is concerned that we're going to pull back out of the region a little bit. And China is trying to push joint exploration that ties every country in the region to them economically. Chinese warships in 1994 did block a Vietnamese oil drilling rig from working in the area. In 2011, Vietnam said a Chinese fishing boat rammed a Petro-Vietnam ship doing a seismic survey. These are serious problems. These are serious problems that China is causing. No one's paying attention because guess what? We got an idiot with a warhead. And he is planning another ICBM-type launch. Now, Russia and China have proposed a rather interesting plan. It's called a freeze for a freeze. Hey, we'll get North Korea to stop their nuclear and missile stuff, but you guys have to stop the United States and South Korea have to stop their readiness exercises and their drills on the peninsula. Gotta love Nikki Haley's response to that.
War is never something the United States wants. We don't want it now. But our country's patience is not unlimited. We will defend our allies and our territory. The idea that some have suggested a so-called freeze for freeze is insulting. When a rogue regime has a nuclear weapon and an ICBM pointed at you, you do not take steps to lower your guard. No one would do that. We certainly won't.
I mean, come on. If you know you've got an enemy gunning for you, are you going to leave your front door unlocked? I don't think so, and that's essentially what they're asking. Now, just a little bit more about that nuclear test that I haven't seen all over the news. One more clip.
The DPRK article stated that the hydrogen bomb was, quote, a multifunctional thermonuclear nuke with great destructive power, which can be detonated at even high altitudes for super powerful EMP attack, end quote. This was a rare reference by the DPRK to the use of EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, which triggered by a nuclear weapon would aim for widespread damage and disruption to electricity grids and sensitive electronics, including on satellites.
Yes, even satellites will fall from the sky. Now, like I said, China, North Korea's big brother and primary trading partner, Iran, wrote the textbook on how to evade sanctions, while China says, oh, we're tired of this noise. We don't want to have crazy little cousin here running amok. And that is the official statements being put out by China's President Xi Jinping. I can't say that I think they're entirely wanting North Korea to stop. And Ron in chat just made an excellent point. Russia and China would never halt joint war games or war exercises with an ally. So it's one of those things that I think North Korea and China, the public policy is North Korea stop it privately. Yeah, just don't hit them first. Make them strike you first. That way we can step in. Now, just as a reminder, the Korean War was halted by a ceasefire. There is no peace treaty. I haven't checked into the constitutionality, but President Trump may not need a declaration of war. There's still an act of war. Now, I've got one more little reminder for you.
The diplomatic and other efforts of the past 20 years to bring North Korea to a point of denuclearization have failed. So we have 20 years of failed approach.
We've been trying sanctions and diplomatic pressure for 20 years. North Korea said, we're not stopping. Now, we know that North Korea has approximately 10,000 artillery units pointed at Seoul. Admiral Harris was asked about this. Now, he couldn't say a whole lot because he didn't want to give out classified information in an open hearing. Can't say I blame him. In fact, thank you, Admiral Harris. But here was his response.
Would we be able to take out their artillery aimed at Seoul?
I believe that we would have the ability to affect North Korea's military calculus in preemptive strikes, depending on the type of strike. But I'm really treading on.
Would we?
He went on to say he was really treading on thin ice, but that we could affect their calculus. Now, unlike certain other people who say that the change in their calculus would be affected if A happens, it'll change their calculus. I happen to believe that Admiral Harris is a man of his word. And if he says we can change their calculus, I'm going to take him at that. I could play hours of audio clips for you. By the way, as of March, this statement was true. We don't know right now, but just take a listen to this.
Right now, we think North Korea has about 12. So if we're going to decide
12 nuclear warheads,
we can deter the Soviet Union and China for decades, but we can't manage North Korea because Kim Jong-un may be non-rational, non-deterrable. We should really examine that carefully if we propose to go to war as an alternative to depend upon deterrence. It may be the wise thing to do. I think everybody would love to have defense at this point. I think that would make a great deal of sense, but we do not have defense. We do not have a non-leaky defense.
Now, what the expert meant by a non-leaky defense, we can take out one missile. If North Korea fires 50 at us, can we take out 50 missiles? I don't know. I don't know the capabilities, and if I would, I'm sorry, I wouldn't mention them on the air. I have one last clip, very short, from Admiral Harris.
While I don't know if those missiles can actually hit what they're aimed at, but like horseshoes and hand grenades, getting close is all that's needed when you're dealing with nuclear weapons.
Horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear weapons. Close is all that's needed. Now, I've played Connect the Dots. If we go to war, I'm going to sum it up real quick here because I'm probably officially out of time, but if I am, I'm running a couple seconds over. If we go to war with North Korea, I believe Iran will kick something else off in the Middle East, and we will be fighting a two-front war, aka another world war. If we have to take on the lunatic of the North, quackers, we are also going to have to deal with Bashar al-Assad, Russia, and Iran, and potentially China. Because Iran is building weapons factories in Syria, Yemen, and Lebanon. Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terror. They are not backing down. All right, folks, as a reminder, you can always find me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. You can shoot me an email at jessespov@KLRNradio.com. On that note, folks, you regulars know what's coming. You new folks, buckle up for the ride, because I'm